started out to be research. Right now, it was going to be research open to anybody who had a grant. At the present time, the campus is investigating perhaps putting vet and animal sciences up here, but haven't decided on that. We're still programming that phase to determine if it works or not. So this is all laboratories over here, and then these would be offices for the researchers or whoever is up there.
Okay.
And then the next 2 floors are all mechanical equipment.
Okay. Good.
So that's a breakdown of the building.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, so I just have a couple more questions. I'm wondering what you think about just the new dirt program in general, and the new buildings going up all over campus.
What is the dirt program? What do you say that?
Just the new projects going up, like there's the Studio Arts building that just went up, the rec center that.
Well, I've never been in the Studio Arts building, so I can't tell you anything about it.
Okay.
Have you been?
I could probably speak to that. As Jeff alluded to earlier, for a long period of time, the university was neglected in terms of new construction and also, for that matter, maintenance and backlog of repairs to existing buildings. Recently, and only recently, there's been some real capital investment by the university to improve the infrastructure and also expand academic buildings as well as buildings for student life. I mean, you've got a new rec center going on, obviously not academic, but provides better quality of life on campus. The central heating plant is also part of our capital program. Again, not academic necessarily, but it's the underpinnings of what makes the university run, and without it, we'd all freeze in the dark. So, yes, it is a very exciting and long-awaited time, sorely needed at this university. A lot of construction in a short period of time. We need to strike while the iron is hot, and we're able to get the funding that we need to make these things happen. It's really going to it already has benefited the reputation of the university vis-a-vis what we consider our competition, both in life sciences, but also just generally speaking in all of our programs. A good example of that, just as give you something as an example, would be the Skinner Nursing School. That whole taking an existing building, it was built in like 1947, it had a sound structure to it. They completely gutted it to a shell, and then putting in state-of-the-art equipment for a nursing program. Nursing program at UMass has a really good reputation. It has for quite some time. But the facilities were lacking, especially for the amount of people who wanted to be in the program.
Right, I know there's usually just a limited number of people that they let in, right?
Yes, it's a pretty exclusive program. Not that this is going to change that, it's still going to remain a pretty exclusive program, but again, the reputation of the program within academia is much more enhanced by the physical plant being expanded. And that's true, it's going to be true in the sciences, it's also true as well. The Studio Arts building you mentioned is something that was sorely lacking at this university. All of the art programs, I don't know if you recall, were tossed all around like
right.
all around the university in some really run down, barely, a lot of people would say, unreasonable places. Bringing them all together in one place too is going to be very helpful to the reputation of the art department and draw the best faculty and best students to the program. So that's what we're trying to do.
Okay. And just one last question. I was wondering if you know about any projects that are in the works that are being discussed that maybe haven't been started yet, or I don't know if that's information that you can really give, but
well, what do you mean by discussed?
just
I
like
mean,
any.
I don't know what phase you're asking about, so I'm not sure how to answer the question yet.
Just like maybe anything that hasn't been approved yet, that's in any new buildings that are being talked about, just coming up in anytime soon.
Well, ISBX.
Right.
Want to talk about that?
Sure.
Go ahead.
You probably know about that better more than I do.
Well, I'll tell you what little.
Yeah.
Now that we have ISB 1 or whatever we call it, ISB, It had always been planned that there's going to be another building with this in a sense of phase two.
Okay.
Okay. And one of the reasons that the building is designed as an L is because there's going to be another wing to make it more of a C,
Okay.
if you will.
Mhm.
And that's why the atrium, the glass atrium, is sitting where it is, because it will be the link between the two buildings. So there was some thought given to all this. We had assumed that ISB second phase will be a long ways away. But it's looking like it's going to be much, much sooner than it was anticipated. So we hope to be starting design in the next few months to year.
And this will
for
just be
ISB.
more of the same like labs and research?
Well, that's
or-
yet to be determined.
Okay.
The campus is going through an analysis of all of the laboratories
Mhm.
to better define what needs to be in the next phase of the ISB. So, don't know yet what the mix will be. The original theory was ISB phase one was mostly chemistry and some life sciences. The theory was ISB second phase would be a switch the other way around.
Okay.
And also part of the theory was this was mostly teaching labs with some research. Perhaps the next phase would be a switch of that too. But I'm still trying to work that out, don't know yet.
Right.
A lot of this is driven too by the state economy, which is trying as best it can now with the new administration, frankly, to highlight the research and sciences in our university system, to make cooperative relationships with private business, private industry in doing so. So a lot of that is a result of that drive.
Okay.
And then one other facility would be a police station.
Yep, police station's under, yeah, it's going to happen now. New police station.